Members of the press.
Has been put into the hearts and minds of people. Children are not going to school, marketplaces and businesses closed because of a discussion that was had on social media by embassies protecting their citizens, telling them to be aware of chatter that they had received about a terrorist act in Nigeria, and especially targeting the federal capital of this great country. Unfortunately, even our government didn't approach its people with that kind of empathy. We were not told, we heard through social media, and that just exacerbated everything. People are now asking, where is that fear? Where is that issue? Where are the people? We are hearing different stories from different counter-narratives. It's very important that in this day and age of social media, that our government is on the pulse of what's going on, and that the narrative is seized by the government. This will allay any fears, and it will cause us to have less of the issues that we're experiencing today. Ladies and gentlemen, terrorism is not something that you can easily address and know the issues and know where it's coming from. Usually you're reactive. It's very clear to us that we are in that reactive position. We do not gather intelligence properly. We do not secure our people with that empathy in mind that we need to have information. I call on the government of the day to understand that we're not children, and even children today can get their information off the internet. There are businesses at stake, families, loved ones. This is really where governance, a true empathetic government, will come to play and tell its people the truth. Because if you do not come in a proactive fashion, you are always chasing the narrative. Instead, our government minister is blaming foreign embassies for not being able to predict school shootings. The matter of the fact that school shootings are usually an isolated one-man affair. Terrorist activity is usually gleaned from chatter. We need to respect those countries that have given that position of thought to their citizens and warn them of possible issues that are happening in the country. We need to be doing the same. Nigeria needs to get on a different footing. We have seen that it's a bit archaic, it's a bit old. The not understanding the mood and the frequency in which these things are happening is giving us the reason we want this change. We want this real change in Nigeria, and not bringing the old guard. We need to bring in people that understand what's going to happen in a modern 21st century country where information is gleaned and passed around in milliseconds. I ask on the government of the day to focus on us Nigerian people. Keep us in mind, keep us ahead of the information curve, or at least let us feel that you are concerned about us. I pray that everybody will understand that this is not a political issue, this is a matter of life and death. And we must preserve the best of Nigeria so that we can have better days tomorrow. The mental element that is missing with us is always intelligence gathering. The human intelligence matter is very old, it's archaic. In fact, we were even better before. We keep trying to allay people's fears after the event. Even during the Goodluck Jonathan administration, I was privy to ways in which information was gathered and ways in which it was passed forward. Even if it's happening today, we've missed one major activity of today's modern age, and that is the advent of social media. Information flies around very quickly. And so when you have that kind of knowledge, knowing that information will fly around quickly, it's important that you are ahead of the curve. You are gathering information, you are disseminating that information to the right agencies as quickly as possible. You have countermeasures always in place. We shouldn't hear that soldiers from a foreign country are in Nigeria. That sends the worst possible signal. Whether it's true or false, we need to be aware of the fact that that information can be a false flag, can be information that is used in a negative manner to portray this government badly, and that's why it's important. I'm a patriot. I'm not here to demean the government of the day. I'm fighting for a better tomorrow. I'm not in a political fight with this administration. Going forward, we need the kind of leadership skills that we at YPP and the Malik Ado-Ibrahim administration will have. Better intelligence gathering, empathy for our people, giving the people the ability to glean that information firsthand and know that the government is active and is working on their behalf. And that is very important for for the unity of this country. It's down to getting that information to the public. When it doesn't come from the government of the day, it looks pathetic. It looks as if we are not caring. The US or the other embassies did this to safeguard the interest of their citizens. We should be doing the same. These are countries far away looking after their people. Even the information that was sent out was to their people, but of course you've got dual nationalities. So that information that are from Nigerian Americans or Nigerian Europeans will now disseminate to their loved ones, and it causes panic. In order to forestall that panic, we need to go to the public quickly. We need an emergency channel. We need the radio waves to understand. Nigeria, we understand the situation that we're in as a country right now. There is struggle and strife in all parts of this country. But a government that is empathetic, that understands that we must read this carefully, and even to have an overt, very overt presence is very important. But what we lack is the strength. We don't have the military strength for this. DSS did very well. We must commend them. They were active. They were in our faces. We saw a presence. We should not bring the army into this sort of situation unless there is a battle to be fought. And that's why we are also pushing our narrative, as I put into our manifesto, of a National Guard, a very overt presence that allows Nigerians to know that the government of the day is in action and is taking their safety as their number one concern, as any government should have. Security of the country and its people as its number one concern. So that would be the very big change that we would make. You would hear, you would see, you would feel secure in this country. We've stated that without power, our security infrastructure does not work. The moment we have reliable power, the moment we have infrastructure that allows us to capture that bad deed or that terrorist activity or whatever it might be, kidnapping, you need power for those CCTVs to work. You need power for transmission of information and data. So we're struggling to fix one problem when the real crux of the issue cannot be sorted out. So we're relying on mobile phones, and again, you need to charge the mobile phone to get that information. The circle of madness needs to be stopped. We need to reset Nigeria, and I think we've laid that out in our YPP presidential manifesto, that we must go for those three tenets of security, power, and use that to get better jobs. And in those two elements, there are jobs to be created. So I pray that where people are listening and seeing what we're talking about as a party, that there are modern changes, progressive changes that YPP wants to bring into play. We're not, again, fighting the government of today. We are trying to get a better tomorrow, and we want to make that very clear to our citizens that there is a plan. It's a plan worth reading. I implore everybody to look at what we've put up as our manifesto, to see that we're serious about governance in this country and taking the lives and the property and the economy of this country very seriously. Double-edged sword. There's good parts of this and there's bad parts of this. If I address the political side of this, money politics is going to be affected. There's no doubt about it. But that shouldn't be the reason why we are changing our currency. Typically, in most countries, every 8 years there's a change of currency or modified currency. This is supposed to allow the change of the currency, the cleaning of the notes, and above all, the ability to curtail any kind of negative activity that's going on with your currency. I believe that, again, our government of the day is showing that there's discord within the government. When the federal minister of finance is telling the CBN that they're not aware of the currency change. Again, this gives us a sense of they're doing things without us. There is not a plan. Everybody's just doing what they want, whether it's in the aviation sector, whether it's with the banknotes. Everything is fire exit at the moment you're leaving office. And it just beggars to ask, what is it that this administration wants to do as it's leaving? You're having a national airline in your 8th year of your administration. You're changing the currency in the 8th year of administration on your way out. Infrastructure deals have been done. Everything is last moment, as if you're trying to cash in on something before the end of this administration. That's why we're not focusing on the things like security and power. If this administration had just done those two things, which it had the ability to do, we would be hailing it. And I'm not saying that they've done terrible in everything, but in what concerns Nigeria on a daily basis, our travel, our infrastructure, our power, and our currency, we can't say we've passed. We are doing really badly, and we're not giving the right answer. Now, for me, the currency issue is a good ploy. We should be even looking more at trying to really strangle the negativity, this currency that is outside the banking system. And I believe that the period they've given is even too long. You've given people enough time to change the currency. The dollar has been affected against the naira. It's already over 800. You've given the thing you want to stop, you've already given them a heads up it's going to happen. It failed in 1984. It was really terrible for the nation. We saw strangulation of commerce. But it's a much different time in 2022. We have cashless business that can be done. Unfortunately, it affects the rural areas more than it does the cities, but we do have POS agents all over the country now. I think it's a good idea. I just think it's really a bit late in the day, and it smacks of negative connotations. And even this fact that we want to have debit cards that are issued normally by the major banking systems like Visa and MasterCard, new cards are going to be issued. Why is it done at this last moment? It really does not give us confidence as a nation, and it's for me a very negative step. We should have done this a long time ago. If you planned it, we would be actioning this thing with the government, with the people in mind. We will have seen it coming, and there'll be faith and confidence in our government. Well, we are where we are, and we're looking for change, and I believe that we bring that kind of change with the knowledge we have and the very proactive manner and the plan that we want to put in play for Nigeria come 2023. Power, security, and the economy. In just those three, we are going to have tremendous amount of jobs being created. There's an analog nation that we live in today, and we want to digitalize that. And in order to do that, we need young minds, we need their capabilities. We know that Nigerians are some of the most talented on technology and artificial intelligence globally. And I believe that by bringing them into the security architecture, manning things like the CCTV cameras and analysts that we need in order for this sort of modern security architecture, there are jobs to be created. I believe that there are foot soldiers that we need as well as desk officers. I think the power situation for me, is very exciting. We within our party have the knowledge to bring that modern technology that everybody's raving about. We can bring it to the fore. Men and women can find jobs in that sector, from the production of solar panels all the way to the production of storage units for power. We've done it, we're doing it, and we're going to do it, so help us God, under a YPP administration.
Thank you. Thank you.